welcome to Blind with a Vision. Anna here. And guess what? Actually, having Janet, my friend Janet, helping me to figure out how to actually do live videos using the voiceover program for the blind, and actually sharing a topic that is, a lot of people have asked me about this topic. And I have Janet here. Janet, who is one of those sighted humanoids, one of those many sighted people, right?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, Janet. How are you?
Hi, Hannah. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. How does it feel to be one of those sighted humanoids?
Ordinary?
She's thinking.
What's the word?
And I have Pancho, who happens to be, should I say low vision? Pancho, or partially blind?
Hi, partial.
Hi, partial. Hi, Pancho. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm great. Are you nervous?
No, not really.
Feeling comfortable talking about how it is to date someone that is sighted?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
You know, I did live videos on my YouTube channel, and Janet, shared with me about dating someone that is legally blind. And a lot of my subscribers actually had questions about it. And I thought maybe we can, take the opportunity to actually talk about the topic, and at the same time kind of practice how it is to actually do live videos when you use VoiceOver, which is Apple's screen reader for the blind. And Janet, one of the things that I'm always asking Rafa is actually also his low vision. And my friend Rafa is always helping me. He always helps when Rafa tells me that, yeah, Anna, you actually center, or you are actually looking at the screen. And I always joke about, I don't know if I'm looking to the side, to the right, whatever. So Janet, am I looking at the camera?
Yes, you are.
Yeah? Woo! Making eye contact?
Yes.
Hopefully. Because, once we don't have any, remaining side, and there is no, we don't have any visual, I guess, any, how do I say this? We don't have any side to actually focus.
Like an eye target?
Yes, that's it. Then, I don't know, people tell me all the time that it looks like I'm able to see because I, follow people's voices. But when it's about the screen, sometimes I look kind of looking up and looking down. And I wonder, how is it for you, Pancho, about dating a sighted humanoid?
How is it?
How is it, Pancho? Because people always ask someone that is sighted questions about, wow, dating someone that is blind. But I want to hear from your perspective when you are blind. How is it?
Well, it's always more comfortable because you're in a good surrounding. I could say there could be helpful at times. Sometimes when you're at a place and you need accommodations, they can help you with the accommodations instead of asking others for help.
So you have the help right there next to you?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you think they're able to, maybe Rafa can tell us if you can hear Pancho? Is he watching, Janet?
Yes.
Okay, maybe Rafa, you can tell us if you can hear Pancho. He sounds a little bit far away from me, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my hearing. So it makes it very convenient to have someone that is able to see.
Yes, it does.
Because with the blind, well, usually, and I know this is different when you have, some remaining sight, when it helps a lot. But most of the time we actually need help from someone, like when going shopping, going to the store, and just things that are actually very visual. So when going out with someone that is sighted, that makes it easier. But I know we were talking about, Janet doesn't, she doesn't think about Pancho being blind. She shall let you be, right? She doesn't over help you.
Mm-hmm.
That very often she forgets because she doesn't think that is.
Because I usually do stuff on my own. I'm more of a dependent person. Like others that are visually impaired, they depend more on others.
You're very independent. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
So is it because that's just part of Pancho, or because of the residual vision that you have?
That's the way I adapted myself with my blindness.
And I know you mentioned you went totally blind for a whole year.
Yes, I did, and I was like several other people that just stuck to my four walls and didn't actually started going out until I got a surgery and I was able to recuperate shadow reflection on my left eye.
Okay. You notice the difference right away when we're not able to see at all, and then when you have some remain inside?
Yes,
it's
a
very
little
helpful.
vision is best than nothing.
I know. I have RP, so I know how, when you go from nothing to, from being able to see and little by little actually losing your sight. So it makes a difference. What about dating someone that is sighted? Is that what you wanted, someone sighted, or it's just that we don't really we don't fall in love with someone just because they're blind or sighted, right? You just fall in love, or you just like someone?
Yeah, you just start basically spending time with the person, and then you start caring for them.
That's exactly what I say. Everything starts with a friendship, right?
Yes.
We were talking about it one of these days on Clubhouse. Dating when you have a disability, and that's our conclusion. Someone in the room was saying that all you need to do is visibility, practice visibility, actually making yourself visible out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting to know someone, start talking, getting to know each other, and go from there.
Yeah,
Did you have any difficulty, any doubts about Janet not liking you because of the visual disability?
Yes, because you say a lot of people that are sighted are looking for people that could help them out more, like driving and I don't know how can I say.
Are they looking for a caregiver?
Basically.
And were you afraid that Janet would think that you were looking for a caregiver, and not someone that you actually like her?
Yes, I did, and I asked her several times, like, why would she give me a chance to date her?
Oh, so you show your doubts.
Mm-hmm.
What was your response, Janet, to that?
I want to say that it was the first time we went on, because we volunteered together for an organization. I want to say it was the first time we went to an event outside of the organization, and he asked me for my number, and I said yeah, and he said, why are you gonna give me your number? And I said, you just asked me for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the typical thing after, right? I give it to you or I don't.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, but why
so you're the one that offered the number?
No, I did, right?
Yes.
I said, well, he said, I'm not going to see you till a month from now, because the organization has events once a month. And I said, well, then take my number. And he's like, why are you going to give me your number? I was like, well, why not? How else are we going to talk? And he was like, but why do you want, to still talk to me if I have no sight? And he was very persistent with that, and I was like, can you stop saying that? That's really making me uncomfortable, because I'm not seeing you as, oh, it's someone without a sight. I'm just here at this event, not because you guys don't have a sight, but more because I want to be here. And I enjoy you guys' company, and I'm here.
So do you like him right away?
No, it took me a while. It took me a while, but because of other stuff that was going on in my life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was something that I was almost running from relationships at the time in my life. I had just got out of a really bad one,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a hard time at the moment when it came to relationships. Someone was trying to get my attention, and I didn't want their attention, and I didn't want to give them my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it just came out of nowhere when Pancho pulled me aside and asked me if we could have a talk outside, and I told him yeah. And he asked me like, how are you? And it's been so long since someone's ever just asked me like, how are you? And they meant it.
Mm-hmm.
So that alone, I was like, okay, what's going on here? Somebody's actually noticing me and generally cares, and that's rare these days. Very rare for me.
I think a lot of people experiences that. So that's the thing that capture your.
Yeah.
He cares about me.
Well, I mean,
you didn't think about he likes me. It's about someone cares.
Yes,
he cares.
like he's being genuine. He's not doing it to get my attention or like for a different motive. He's just being genuine, and he noticed that I wasn't okay that day, and he didn't just let it go and say, okay, well. Oh,
did you even think about him maybe liking you
no,
or not?
No,
you just thought like he cares.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, he actually cares enough to ask me how I'm doing.
So there you go, for you guys that are watching, and if you're gonna watch this on my YouTube, that's what we women and also men look for. Not always, oh, I like him or I like her. It's actually about someone that shows that, caring for you, right? About how you feel.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with you being sighted, an amazing sighted humanoid, or an amazing blind or low vision person, right? Mm-hmm. It's about the actual person. That's critical for people to understand, because I know one of the questions for my friends that are sighted, Janet, and they're married to someone that is blind, their sighted friends are always asking, why did you marry someone that is blind? Have they asked you that, Janet? Why are you dating someone that is height partial? Did they ever ask you that? Or not really? Because it really depends on who you are and who your friends are also.
I have not gotten that question.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because where I volunteer, it wasn't really that shocking for my friends or family.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have my sister-in-law. I think it was the first date we were gonna go on, and I was telling her like, oh, we're gonna go on a date, and she's like, oh, how do you feel? And I said, I feel excited. I'm I can't wait for it. She's like, yeah, but isn't it like a little sad that you can't get ready? And I go, what do you mean I can't get ready? She's like, your hair, your makeup. She's like, it's gonna be kind of pointless.
Oh my gosh, that's typical. Why would someone even think about that, right?
Yeah, and I was like,
of
well,
course, of course Pancho will be able to know if you took a shower or not.
But
if your clothes feel, clean and soft and whatever.
No, but I mean, I do my hair and makeup for me, So it's like,
I'm still
going to do my hair and makeup. Like,
yeah. Doesn't it makeup have this special kind of smell, right? I know it's maybe someone that is listening to me, they go like, what? But doesn't the makeup cause, you can tell when someone
just did their makeup?
Right, Pancho?
Yes.
What? Tell me about that. How do you know when Janet has makeup on? I know I'm already thinking about you grabbing her face and kissing her and whatever. But if you're not, how do you know? How do you know that she has makeup?
Just like you say, your other senses develop more, so you could kind of smell, and the sense of smell and touch.
Yes. And you can tell when she's wearing makeup, right, or not? Can you? Maybe not. And I'm assuming.
I don't.
That's because I don't really wear makeup.
Yeah, she doesn't.
I don't really wear makeup.
Or you haven't paid attention to that?
No. It's rare when I put makeup on.
When she puts, yeah.
They say they have done studies, and they have found out that even blind men and the ones that were born blind, they actually also look at physical. Well, in general, men look at physical appearance. Okay, they actually look at how the woman looks or the girl. They do pay attention, and even for the ones that were born blind, they care about the physical appearance. Okay, so this is not only specific or not only applies to sighted men, but also to the blind. Tell me about that, Pancho. Did you ask people like how Janet looks like, or you didn't care, or how that's? Tell me about it. I'm just thinking about how do you know if the sister-in-law asking, well, but isn't that sad that he's not going to be able to see that you're wearing makeup or whatever, or the clothes, because people have asked, how does he or she knows that you're looking quote unquote pretty, right?
Yes, I actually didn't really go for looks. I went because of her being so kind and helpful with others.
Kindness, personality.
Yes.
That's what you like about Janet.
It's what attracted me to her.
Isn't that touchy, beautiful, Janet? That someone looks at you because of who you are, not because of how you look?
Yes, it is.
People don't understand that part because mostly everyone, we live in a sighted society, in a sighted world. And, you see on Facebook, Instagram, everyone showing the best, on when it comes to physical appearance, right? Applying all those filters on their pictures, right? I always say that I'm the only one out there on Instagram uploading photos without any filter, right? I don't know how I look. I'm not able to hide my pimples and my whatever, my imperfections, and cutting out, I don't know, any fatness that I have on, on my body, because people do that. They hide everything. They hide the background. They hide if their arms look fat, and I'm natural. So having someone that is falling in love with you, that they like you and falling in love because on who you are, not on how you look, right? That's powerful, Janet.
It is, and I think I even discussed with him that it was something that I struggled with my entire life, because even as a child, when we would go places, there would be people telling, like, my family, like my mom, they're like, oh, qué linda tu hija, está bien bonita, and I used to hate that. I was so uncomfortable with people like just expressing how they saw me just by my looks. Like, that's something that I've always been so uncomfortable, is that everybody, like, every time somebody approaches me, it's always like, oh, hey, beautiful, or oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, and I was just like, oh, leave me alone with that, like.
And Pancho didn't look at you because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm hearing is for both of you, actually, it's because of, you saw how caring he is, or he was, started talking, and she actually asked for your phone number. Isn't that? When women are asked, actually, I remember my grandma used to tell us, and I don't even know how to translate this into English. The man is the one that has to ask you out. Don't be begging. La mujer tiene que ser rogada, no rogona. She used to tell us, right? So I grew up not, just waiting for guys who I like to actually talk to me and ask me out. I would not go out of my way, because females were not supposed to be asking out a guy, right? Times have changed though. So Janet is not, by asking for your phone number, is not doing anything that we're not practicing nowadays, right? Asking the guy out, actually, that's beautiful when you actually get flowers and send them flowers, right? But many people think that it's not, right? And when it comes to dating someone with dating someone with a disability in general, not only the blindness, or dating someone that is blind, people find it so different.
And now we have Aaron, and he says, hello, how are you doing today?
Hi, Aaron. Doing great. How are you doing? Do we have anybody else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to be uploading this video on my YouTube. And I think Aaron has messaged me here on Facebook. Right, Aaron? I believe so. Asking me if I want to collaborate with you. Okay. I think so. For some reason, I haven't been able to reply. When I click on your message, I don't know, my video starts playing out. My live videos. But that's Anna here, kind of, learning how to deal with the whole iOS. But anyway, Pancho, have you get all those comments from people asking about you dating someone that is sighted? Tell us about it.
People have been asking me before, like, how do I feel about it? And it's hard to explain.
Have you dated sighted girls before Janet?
Yes, I have.
Oh, because you could see before.
No, even when I was this.
When you became blind?
Yeah.
Or legally blind?
But the thing is that I told her is that I never approach women. They had always approached me.
Oh, look at that.
And
show off.
But the thing is that I never cared, like I said, for physical appearance. I always cared because of the person they were. Yeah. But yeah, one person always told me, like, is it hard to date someone that is sighted? And
we want to know if it's hard. Is it?
it's not hard. You just have to adjust to it.
Tell me about that adjustment. What do you mean by adjusting?
Just by like in every.
Have you dated blind women? Blind? Yeah.
I had 2 relationships.
Okay.
One was totally blind, and the second one was could probably see just light perception.
Okay. Well, that's a stupid question. Do you see the difference when you date someone that is blind and someone sighted? When you focus on the actual sight and blindness, not about the personality or the beauty, whatever that is. Is that a huge difference, Pancho?
Person that it's.
I mean, let's be honest here. There are differences. Some people might disagree with me, and you know me. I'm always sharing from Anna's perspective, Anna's world. There are, like you said, my ex is sighted, and it was very convenient having him picking me up from school, taking me to the store, doing my nails, doing my eyebrows, things like that. He was great, but still, he is an ex. So there are differences.
Okay, the differences was that there were the girls that were visually impaired. They depended more on me because I would always guide them around. And now the difference is that she's guiding me around. So
So you're really good at finding places and telling them like where, but
I'm good finding places, but sometimes like there's places that there's like a store that has several different openings or doors, and it's kind of hard to focus sometimes
to figure out which one is the entrance.
Which one is the entrance? Yes,
I understand. And that's when a sighted girlfriend comes handy.
Yeah,
she tells you it's right there.
Yeah,
and you go, hoo, a sighted girlfriend. What about when you both are blind? It is a little challenging, right?
It's challenging because you always have to depend on other people, so you have to find someone to ask.
So it takes a little longer.
Yeah, it takes.
But it's doable.
Yes, it is.
Is it as fun as it is when you go with someone that is sighted? It's a tricky question, Pancho.
Yeah, it's a tricky.
Is it as fun or enjoyable as when you go out with someone sighted? When you go out with someone that is blind?
For example...
Remember, it's a tricky question.
Yeah.
Is it as fun as it is?
Well, every relationship is different, and you have a certain amount of fun with the person. Depends how fun you want to make it with the person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how much you love the person. Has to do with your relationship with the person, right?
Yes.
Because we don't know if just because you're going with someone that is blind, that means that the person is caring, which is what you saw on Janet, right?
Another situation I had is that the relationships that I had that were blind, they had kids. So it was very different with Janet because she doesn't have kids. So I was able to hold her anywhere I like, basically grab her hand in public. With them, I wasn't able to do that. They will always grab my arm and me guiding them. So now it's with her is different because I'm able to hold her hand and hug her in public and stuff like that.
And with someone blind, you're not able to do that? Because maybe
because
the
of
children
kids,
and the family?
Because of the kids, and they weren't my kids. So we have to keep like a distance, kind of.
Okay. So the tricky question is that it really depends on how the relationship is.
Yes.
Is with each person. has nothing to do with being sighted or blind. Although there are differences when having to find a location, having to find a place, right?
Yes.
Because of the visual disability. So the trick part is here, you guys, is that when asking what's better, sighted or blind, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, it has to do with how your relationship is with each person, really, right?
Yes, it is.
Is it a close, very in love, quote unquote, or I don't know. How do I say this, Janet? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I am, and I just want to make a quick comment on what he said. I think even if I had kids, I would still be the same. You would still be able to hug me. You would still be able to hold my hand. I think it's more something personal that the girls
with that particular person.
Yeah, that they were going through at the moment. They just didn't feel comfortable. I don't think
maybe the kids didn't approve. I don't know, right?
But if they're little kids, there's nothing for them to approve, really. You know, they're just looking up to the adults. If it was something obviously not inappropriate, but it's normal to see people hug and hold hands. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I think it was more on how the female wanted to be perspective. Maybe they just didn't want to show that type of love or emotion. I'm free to do it. I don't mind if someone's there or anything like that. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So it's really how it's not about the... Although there are some differences that Pancho mentioned, being with someone sighted is easier. I remember for me, it was, I didn't have to worry about finding the door, having to approach customer service, right? To go and ask for assistance because I'm already with someone sighted and which is going, he grab whatever we needed and leave, right? When you are blind, totally blind, or you have, some vision, sometimes when you have low vision, you can manage and actually go and find whatever stuff if they haven't changed everything around in the store. But when you're totally blind, you really depend on somebody else's help. So if you have a sighted girlfriend, boyfriend, just husband or whatever partner, it is a little easier. But when it comes into who do you feel better with, has to do with how your relationship is with that partner, I believe. How deep you're into the relationship, how much you quote unquote care for each other, love each other. What about one of the questions, Pancho, is that people always nowadays, I'm gonna be biased here, okay? A lot of women don't date someone that they don't have a car, okay? They want someone that has a car. And when you have a visual disability, one of the biggest challenges for me is not being able to drive. Because very often when I'm waiting for my taxi, especially now that it's 95 degrees outside, or it's very cold, and just going to work, going to school, and then everywhere, it takes us longer, right? That's why it's very convenient, like you said at the beginning, having someone that is sighted makes it easier. But we don't want to depend on the person and have your loved one to become the caregiver, which is, I think, the fear from sighted people when they kind of think about, or when they are asked about dating someone with a disability. I'm not just talking about the blindness. Dating someone with a disability, people usually, the fear is like, I'm gonna become the caregiver, I'm gonna have to feed them, I'm gonna have to clean them. Now, one of the things is that women, they want someone that they have a car, they drive, and being blind. Tell us about that. How do you feel about that?
Well, actually, she has experience traveling with me in public transportation,
Let's say we found a balance, because I'm very outspoken. I won't just sit there and say, okay, well, I'm not happy, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit here. I like to express myself, and I express myself to him as much as possible, and we communicate. So from the get-go, I told him I don't feel comfortable driving at night. So if we're going to do something, it's going to be at an earlier time. And I'm not going to drive from one party to another. If we're going to go somewhere, we're going to go to one place, and then that's it. And like he said, we've gone out, and he's picked me up on Access, and I've gone.
And Access, for those who don't know, tell us about Access quickly. It's a special transportation, right?
It's a special transportation.
It's a transportation for people that are handicapped
or that have a disability, right?
Yeah.
So you have used access writing on his.
Yeah.
That's great. Not only because you want to experience it and know how he feels, but it's actually just to use the transportation. Like,
because usually he'll say like, I don't want you to drive, and I'm gonna make access, and we're gonna go. I think we went to Knott's or Disneyland. Where did
We
we
went to Disneyland for Valentine's.
Oh yeah, we went to Disneyland for Valentine's, and I didn't have to drive. Yeah.
So I think that's critical. And that shows how much you care and how much you care about the relationship, because you feel you're not afraid that he's going to get sensitive about you saying, you know what, I don't want to drive today. Right? Because I think what happens sometimes, partners, very often there are times when you don't feel like driving, but they don't want to offend us. Right? And they want to make it easier on us. Comfortable, yeah. So I think that's critical, Janet. Yeah. That as a sighted girlfriend, boyfriend, you just feel comfortable telling him or her, you know what, I don't want to drive today. Let's use your transportation. But
then there's another time that we actually used Uber, and we were riding with several friends. So that's one of the times she told me she wasn't comfortable because she wanted to be comfortable with me. So for my experience, next time, like, just her and that's it.
So communicating.
Yeah.
Having a good, and not being afraid that either one is going to get offended.
Upset or offended, yeah.
Yeah. What about Pancho? Are there any negatives about dating someone that is sighted?
Negatives.
The good, the bad, and the ugly about.
I always try to focus on the good things.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is such thing as the good, the bad, and the ugly about dating someone sighted or dating someone that is blind. I think when the sighted world looks at someone that is dating someone with a disability, or the way
the only thing I get is that she doesn't focus on that, but I do focus. I have a little bit of vision, like I said, and I see people always staring and making remarks or comments.
Really?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Actually, you know what? There was once we went on a double date. It was with another couple that also had visual impairments, and
they were waiting. Both blind, or are they dating someone with a sight?
Well, he's totally blind, and she's she could see it in the daytime,
partial?
But in the nighttime, her vision goes out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to dinner, and I think I overdressed. Because I was like, oh, we're gonna go out. So obviously I was wearing heels and I was dressed, and we
just
were
the way we do it, right?
But no one else was overdressed. Like, no one else. They were kind of just on their casual gear. So I was kind of like, okay, oops.
You felt
should have asked.
Out of place.
So when we got to the restaurant, I did notice a lot of people were looking at us and were kind of making eye contact with me and kind of giving me that, oh, poor you. Like,
you're hanging out with blind people.
Yes, like, what are you doing? Type of vibes. And I was just like,
are you the caregiver?
Well, they knew I wasn't because I was holding his hand and I was hugging him, so they knew that wasn't the
I
case.
bet you that I'm so close-minded. I was gonna say, I bet you that they were thinking, why is she dating someone that has a visual disability? Right?
I think so.
Or, I mean, in their mind was blind.
Yeah, I think that was.
She's dating a blind dude.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what people thinks, or how they view us, we shouldn't worry about that, because we cannot control how people, and we're not trying to change people's mentality, right? I guess just sharing how it is. Maybe this can break a little bit of the stereotypes out there. One of the things, Pancho, that we always talk about in my Blind with a Vision channel is the whole idea about those myths, legends, stereotypes towards blind people is like the biggest challenge that people, not only blind people but people with disabilities, have to deal with. Because you and I, we already know that even with the blindness, I know it is challenging, especially in some situations we're not able to drive, and that our life, at least my life, would be easier if I could see and drive. but I'm still living. I'm still enjoying and doing things. And from people's point of view, it's like, they have all these beliefs about us, assumptions, right? Misperceptions. And when it comes to dating someone with a disability, they cannot process that idea. You said that you notice that people actually stare at you guys. And we hear that all the time. I mean, it's a stupid question, but tell me about that. What comes to your mind when you see them staring at you guys? What do you think they have in mind?
Like you said, why are you dating a blind person?
How do you feel seeing
How do
that?
I feel?
How do you feel seeing people staring at you guys?
Well, I don't really care or mind as long as she's happy and I'm happy. It doesn't really matter.
Bravo. That's it. Do you think most people feel like that, or people do care?
I think a lot of people do care. That's the thing, that you can't care about everything.
Yeah, I've heard from people that they're blind and they have a sighted partner, and the person is on wheelchair, and they just go out and about, having fun, and they're holding hands. The person that is on wheelchair, they're just, the ones guiding, and the other one is walking along holding hands, and they say people even stop to look at them.
Yeah, I get that. They even just by myself walking on my own, people just stop and stare, or sometimes they don't even care. They just walk above my cane, like almost tripping over my cane. Yeah.
And they very often we hear that someone that is sighted and dating someone that is blind, they are like, one of the attitudes is like, you are such an angel, Janet, for dating someone that has low vision. You must be such a kind person to go out with someone that is blind. There is that kind of belief, right? And who knows, maybe Janet is not an angel at all. Maybe she's a little devil.
No. I don't know. I've never had that. I never had that reaction. But I don't know if it's because, we do hang out majority with his social group. But that's because this is another balance that we have, is that if it comes to socializing, he does more socializing than I do. I don't really socialize.
Are you more quiet?
I'm more quiet, and I'm also more comfortable being home. If it was up to me, I could spend a really fun weekend at home. He's the one that's used to
it's a social butterfly.
Yes, up and at it.
And people would think like, oh, poor guy, he's just going out because the girlfriend is taking him out, right?
No, yeah, and it's the opposite. The only reason why this weekend I did so much stuff is because his social group is the one that's been having stuff all weekend. If it was up to me, I'd be cozy up in my room watching a movie.
And because I asked you, Janet, can you help me figure out this whole thing about my life? By the way, do we have anything on watching? Maybe not.
We have Margie.
Hi, Margie.
And she says,
oh my gosh,
you look beautiful.
Thank you. Margie is one of my number one followers. She's the only one that gives me one like. Because I have to vent out, Margie, that if you don't, I noticed a while ago that once you pay $20 to actually go advertise yourself on Facebook, and you have to continue paying for that. Otherwise, because of the logarithms with Facebook and Instagram, which is the same company, they hide your stuff. And I refuse to pay, because if every single person out there is paying $20, that's why the Facebook dude is a billionaire, because people feel pressure like, oh, no one is watching my stuff, I'm not getting views, and maybe I should pay to get views and get a little, I don't know, spread awareness about my blind vision. But oh my gosh, it's upsetting. Anyway, in parentheses, thank you so much, Margie, for always supporting me. Thank you. Wow, this is such an interesting topic. I don't know, what about the whole fear, Janet, from your sighted perspective? If you can maybe point at some reasons why. It's a very complex question, okay? How come sighted people, the sighted world, why are they so afraid about dating someone with a disability? Not only the blind. We already mentioned like the idea that you have to be...
Yeah, I think it wraps up to the same from the other side is, am I going to be seen or be treated like a provider? Because I remember even telling Pancho, like, okay, if we go out with your friends, give me the plans and let me volunteer myself to say, oh, you know what, like, let me drive, I'll pick them up. Do not offer for me to pick them up, because then that makes me feel like I'm just like an Uber driver, right? Because I'm going from house to house picking
That's
up
how
everyone.
my ex felt. He said he felt like he was a driver.
Yeah, and I said, let's communicate where you tell me these are the plans, like, how do you want to do it? And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Was he told me, okay, so-and-so said there's this event, you know, but I don't know, what do you think? So he gave me opportunity for me to give my input and for us to meet in the middle on how to go about it, instead of saying, you know, oh, hey, like, so-and-so, and, you know, this person's gonna need a ride, so we're gonna go pick this one up, and then that one, and then that
So
one.
your tip for those who are dating someone that is blind, or for the blind, or
Yes, for
partial or a disability, make sure that you don't use your partner sighted or quote unquote non-disabled, whatever that means. Do not use them as a driver.
Yeah.
Communicate and ask first if they want to do it, because that was an issue with my ex, where I actually would decide for him to have him pick him up all this bunch of blind people and he ended up getting tired of it, and he would do it, but he would like, how come you didn't ask me first? And being blind, I knew how helpful it was to have someone sighted just picking you up, avoiding you the special transportation. But I was just thinking about me. I was projecting myself, right?
And as someone sighted, I would love to do that. You know, I would love to go and help out, and that's what I do. I love helping people out. But it makes a big difference when you're approached with, you know, the opportunity to speak up and say, I want to do this for us. You know, I want us to enjoy more time at the event, so I want to
just be the two of us.
No. Like if I say I want to pick everybody up so we could enjoy the event more.
Oh, okay.
But that's something that has to come from me, because if it doesn't come from me, it kind of feels like it's being pushed on me, and vice versa. If I were to push something on him, I don't think he would like it. So it's just just like I have to be mindful all the time of the accommodations he needs. In return, I want him to stay mindful about, you know, my feelings and how I feel about certain things, like being able to have an opportunity to say, yes, I feel like driving today, and I don't mind picking everybody up, or, you know, instead of being told this is what you're going to do.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable being open about that with Pancho? Did it take you a while, or you feel comfortable saying that right away?
No, I think it was kind of instant when I was already like, okay, this is how we're going to communicate, and you have to communicate back.
Were you afraid that he was going to get a little sensitive and offended, or
no?
Or it has always been like a very open...
Yeah, he's open-minded. Mm-hmm.
Did you even think about that, Pancho? Like, you didn't want to use, you know, make your girlfriend into the driver?
I didn't actually think. One time I did it.
And you just...
I just offered someone...
Made plans? You just made plans for her?
Well, I made plans for her.
Yes.
Ended up being more friends involved. And yeah, I didn't think about it. I just did it, and afterwards I got it.
Well,
she got a little...
Yeah, when we communicated. I think...
But it seems to me that you guys are now okay with it. You guys feel so comfortable.
Are you referring to my birthday? Or is that something else?
Oh, yes. There is more than once.
No, it was her birthday.
It was a night planned with just us two, going to dinner and then going dancing. We had never gone dancing, so I was very excited. But he bumped into some coworkers he used to work with there, and he got a little overexcited, and he kind of just invited them all to join us for the dancing part.
Without asking you.
Yeah.
And that could happen to any couple, not only because you're blind and someone
so I had to take them in my car, and then at the end of the night I had to drive them home. When it was supposed to be just something between us, it just ended up being
that ruined everything.
It ended up being like I literally just turned into the driver of the night, because they were socializing with them, catching up so much that I just kind of got lost that night. And since, like I said, like I'm a lot more quiet, I just kind of just literally got lost that night. And it was just about him and his friends.
And that applies to anyone, not just someone that is blind or sighted, right? That could happen with a quote unquote non-disabled couple, right? If you find a friend and I don't know, he's not driving or she's not driving, kind of giving a ride and deciding like, no, you're coming with us. I mean, that could be a problem.
Well, this was the first time I've ever experienced anything like this.
And you didn't want to say no?
No one, I did. I said no actually a couple of times, but he's like, I already told them. And I was like, ah.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's not good because where's the communication?
Wow.
There has to be communication.
Wow. Wow. We have so many questions. Do we have anybody else on watching, Janet? Maybe not, because as I said, no one watches my stuff.
Mario.
Hi, Mario. Hello.
Mario Ochoa.
Hi, Mario. Welcome. Anaki. Mucho gusto.
And then we have Becky.
Becky. Hi, Becky. Hi. Anybody else?
No, that's
no. Okay. So, Janet, you were giving me maybe we're gonna wrap it up. I know you guys have an event, something going on. I was asking like other reasons why the sighted community or sighted world, how come they have this fear of dating someone that has a disability, not only the blind? And you mentioned the fear of becoming the caregiver, the unknown. What else? Is it all those misconceptions and stereotypes, myths, and legends about blind people? I mean, these myths and legends and stereotypes towards blind people is something ancestral. I mean, if you look back centuries ago, like someone that was blind, we were talking about it on Clubhouse about how in some cultures they believe that the blind are cursed, something. Maybe they have the diablo and the devil. They have the devil inside of them, and maybe the parents did something really bad in their past, and the punishment was having a blind child. I mean, my friend Alex talks about it. How in Mexico, when he goes out, people approach him, and they actually stop him and they tell him like, we're gonna pray for you because maybe you have the evil eye. No, I'm serious. And I go like, oh my gosh. Do you think it's all those misperceptions that?
No, well.
What do you think?
I think something that I guess people with visual impairment might not be so mindful about is that when they're socializing, I don't know if they forget or they're just socializing. They're not really looking to bring in other people from the outside in. And this is from my experience, of course. So
it's not only the non quote unquote disabled, but we are contributing to that. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I've experienced. I've been at several events and I'm there, and even like there's like a group of guys and girls, couples, and the girls will just all go to one room and socialize, and I'm just there like, I'm a girl too. But they
so are you being discriminated and excluded because you're sighted within the blind community?
I would not.
No. Tell me your perception or how you feel.
Not, but that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like maybe they feel like there's a disconnect. Like there's something about me that doesn't allow for
Is it possibly because they feel like that because we already kind of experienced that we're not seen the same or welcome or included by the sighted, that as soon as we know that you're sighted, I don't do this, okay? You already know me. I'm a social butterfly like Pancho. I don't care if you're sighted, you're on a wheelchair or whoever.
Yeah.
I do not care. I just talk a lot. And I include everyone. Even if they don't include me, I include myself. But I noticed that. Do you think it's because we feel uncomfortable knowing that they have misconceptions or they see us differently, that we kind of feel uncomfortable around sighted people, or
it could
non-disabled?
It could be, but yeah.
Look at me, I'm trying to blame the sighted world.
No, but I've gone to places where like they'll ask me like, oh, how long have you, when did you lose your sight? And I'm like, I have sight. Like I try to say it as low as possible.
They think you're blind because you're mingling with the blind community.
And once I do, it's kind of like they kind of like shut me down, like, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I just said hi, and that's all I'm gonna say today. Like, there's no one's gonna come here and and actually have a conversation with me.
So we experience that. As soon as I say blind, I'm such a social butterfly, but I have to share that I experience that. As soon as they know that I'm blind or whatever, like on Clubhouse, you go in those sighted rooms, and as soon as they see your biography or you say that you're blind, I have to say people have shared with me that they are treated differently. Is it that we the blind feel uncomfortable with someone that is sighted, and the sighted feel uncomfortable with us?
Well, I was comfortable, but now I'm like, maybe I'm not as welcome as I thought I was. You know, like maybe it's not equal.
No matter what you do?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like
what do you think it would take for you to be?
I don't know. I've been trying different approaches. Actually, I've tried doing one-on-one.
Let's ask Pancho and see what his point of view from a guy's perspective.
Wow.
What do you think she's doing to be excluded from the blind community? You know, all those people that you guys mingle. Is she seen as a threat because the sighted guy actually look at a sighted girl?
No.
You prefer the sighted, or why do you think so?
The thing is that I see that she's quiet, and if no one approaches her, she won't.
Oh, there you go, Janet.
Yeah.
No,
Pancho feels comfortable saying that.
No, that's not true, because I don't have to be loud for people to approach me. I go to other social events and people approach me quite well, you know, and I'm not going to change my personality and who I am and start yelling and start, you know, just being a different person around people.
To be accepted, right?
Yeah, and I believe there's a lot of quiet people with visual impairments, and, you know, they communicate with them, so I just don't see that as being an issue.
And it's critical. I will say that I'm very transparent and I'm myself, and very often people don't like that because I'm just myself. I can only pretend to be somebody else maybe for a while, but I can't. Even if I say whatever and share things that people disagree with me, for me it's critical. So for some people, they don't like that I'm so chatty and I talk a lot, and that is from my blind people, and I'm excluded.
Yeah.
So I totally understand, Janet. But maybe Pancho has observed that maybe it's not like you have to change who Janet is. Maybe something that makes you more, I don't know, I'm thinking about what can you do to be included.
I just try to make her feel comfortable as best as I can.
Maybe it's not you. It's so interesting that you're sharing that you also get excluded by the blind community. It's interesting, and very often we think that we're the only ones that get excluded by the sighted world, right? Wow. So that's a big one. That's a big
but
one.
I'm still here, and I keep inserting myself at every event.
Yeah?
Keep trying.
How are you dealing with that? Are you gonna continue kind of trying, or?
I am, and this weekend I took a different approach. I did more one-on-ones where I actually pulled someone aside and talked to them, and, you know, try to get to know them better on a personal level. And that's what
I think that's a great idea, because this person is going to share with others about how actually Janet being, you know, just like anybody else, even if she's not blind.
Yeah.
Right? She could be the one that is going to spread, because we the blind really know how to spread the word out there. What is about gossiping?
Or sometimes us as a blind group, we just stick to each other. We don't.
They're not looking to include me. Like, it's like, we're
oh
good.
My gosh.
We're good already.
Should I ask, how does that feel? How do you feel about that?
It's a little sad. A little draining.
So listen to that, guys. Maybe with the blind, sometimes sighted people, and this applies for anyone that has a disability, maybe without, just because we know we've been discriminated, should I say it, you know, those stereotypes, and we have past experiences, negative past experiences, we kind of already have the fear that we're not going to be included, but we are the ones that unconsciously we are actually keeping people away, right? Because of the fear. And maybe that's what's happening to Janet, that she is being excluded by this. Not that they do it on purpose, but maybe they just, because of previous experiences, they're not aware that they're actually contributing to not mingling with someone that is sighted. Does it make sense what I just said, Janet?
Yeah, it does. It does, because it doesn't feel like that. And no one's being rude. No one's being like disrespectful.
They're just keeping their distance.
Yeah, it's just there's no need to make a connection there, so I won't. Or when I do approach them, they're just like, "Oh, can I get a water?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Maybe this.
Like how
maybe continue doing what you just said.
Yeah.
One-on-one, and this person could be the one that is gonna go and share. I mean, Janet is just like, she's not blind, but she's just like anybody else.
She could do more than get us water and guide us to the restroom. Yeah.
Yes. Because they're seeing you as just someone that is helping, a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Pancho, what else can you tell us? We're actually going to be leaving soon. Anything else you want to tell us about dating someone? One of those sighted humanoids. And we're sharing this because we're just feeling human, like they say on Facebook. Yeah. Feeling human that, we give ourselves the permission to actually be ourselves and feeling whatever emotions. I mean, whatever Pancho is feeling or he experiences about dating someone that is sighted, he probably can identify with someone else out there that has low vision like Pancho or someone blind. But at the end, Pancho is an individual with different likes, different emotions, different whatever, right? So his experience might be very different because there is only one Pancho in this world. There is only one Janet. But when it comes about the disability, maybe talking about these topics might actually help a little bit out there for whoever is interested in watching our video. But I was asking Pancho, like, what else is bad, quote unquote bad? I know you said you focus on the good. Is there anything else that you would point out, challenges about dating someone sighted, besides having a girlfriend who is not included by your blind friends? Anything else? Something negative? Maybe there isn't.
Well, there isn't now. I don't see nothing bad now, but she's different. I don't know how she thinks.
Yeah, I think whenever there is issues within the couple, when there is someone blind or a disability, a lot of people assumes that because there is a disability, that people think right away like, oh look, they had an issue because she couldn't do it, or he couldn't do it, or he couldn't deal with someone that has a disability. Instead of thinking like couples have issues, differences of ideas, or things change, right?
Yes.
One of these days on Clubhouse, there we were having this topic about the fears. That was the title of my room. The fears, quote unquote fears, because I don't know if it's really about fear of dating someone with a disability. And there was a sighted lady who came and she goes, I saw the topic of the room, so I'm here. I actually started dating someone that has a disability 2 weeks ago. We already went out for a date, and I want to know how to approach this guy, right? Happened to be someone with a cerebral palsy. And she said that he was already getting very emotional, attached. 2 weeks, okay? In 2 weeks, he was already saying like, oh, maybe you're gonna leave me because I have a disability. I go, red light. This has nothing to do with the disability. He's probably already using that. So each one of us, we have internal issues, and maybe sometimes the disability is getting in the way, but not all the time. I think this thing was not only about not the disability, but it was just the person. For him to 2 weeks only into the relationship, and he was already trying to emotionally sabotage her, and she was feeling sorry about having to say no. I don't want to be around, but she said she really liked him. She really, really liked him, and she was asking questions. How do I go about, what do I do approaching him, and what do I need to do with someone that has a disability? I don't think there is anything specific that I
think communication is key, and honestly, pay attention to instincts if there's red flags, especially mental ones like emotional. They're trying to make you feel guilty for something that you shouldn't feel guilty about. It's best to express it and to get their feedback, and if they don't want to see it, then move on.
Yeah,
move on.
I think that's it. communication. And sometimes we're not mentally or emotionally ready to maybe get into a relationship.
And that's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then maybe the other one makes it about the disability or non-disability. But at the end, it seems like communication, you guys seems like you guys have figured out that having a communication just to express without being afraid that either one is getting offended, right? Mm-hmm. Recognizing what's going on. But, wow. And at the end, I always say in those rooms on Clubhouse, and I have said this on my Spanish videos, you don't fall in love with someone just because he or she has a disability, right? Or he or she doesn't have a disability, right? Mm-hmm. At the end, like any human out there, you just happen to like someone, you experience those, that cocktail of hormones, emotions in the brain. And from out of 100 people, you just happen to like that one or that one, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless of how many times your friends told you, like, oh, he's so ugly, Anna, he's not good looking. Right? You just happen to like that one because of the way he talks, the way he's treating you, because it is that chemistry, and you just go for the quote-unquote ugliest one, and that's the one you like. So you don't really choose someone, and you say like, oh, I'm gonna date this one because he doesn't have a disability or she doesn't have a disability. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Because even though he's the one that has a visual impairment, I'm the one that socially is more closed off, and he's not. So it's almost like there's always a balance. There's always, like I've expressed to you, Anna, before, is that he helps me a lot too,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like he reads my emotions, he reads how I'm feeling. He'll tell me like, oh, if you want to leave, we can leave, like that's
mm-hmm.
something that's very important too, something like to be in tune with. So it's a balance.
You just made me, yeah, there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
Communication balance
mm-hmm.
is a win and win, right?
Uh-huh.
Has to be a win and win situation. With what you express, I just thought about something. Has he ever used the blindness as a way to get away with things, Janet? Pancho is not listening, okay?
No, and I don't even feel uncomfortable saying it in front of him because I think I've pointed it out to him. I think once or twice he did, and I call him out on it. I'll be like, no. Not with
what was
me.
that, Pancho? We want to hear from Pancho. Let me see if he recognizes that. No? Did you consciously did it, or it was something unconscious?
Yeah, so remind me.
What was it exactly? I can't exactly remember what it was, a one-on-one, but I know, like, around his family, like, he'll just sit there and wait for the food to be given to him.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're at parties together, he's the one that offers to get up and get me my food. So I'm like, that is very interesting. Because you're very capable of getting your plate and mine at parties alone, but when you're with your family, you just kind of just sit there, like, a little helpless, like, waiting for it to get served.
So Mama is serving the plate?
See?
So is that an attachment issue with your mommy? With mom? Or you just don't want to get offended? Because if your mom is like mine, which she wants to give me everything, she even runs to the restroom to turn on the light, and I reach a point where I say, okay, Mom, turn on the light if that makes you happy.
No, it's just
light doesn't even help me anymore. Right? If she wants to, if turning on the light in the restroom when I go in makes her happy, welcome to do that. Right? Is it because is that something with your mom? And
that's something that she does because she knows if I don't sit and she doesn't give me the food, I won't eat. Like we were talking about earlier at different events, most of the time I don't eat because it's just something that I don't care to eat when I'm around so many different people. And it has to do a lot with, like I explained to you earlier, different people coming and touching and everything. Food.
That's so funny. Last night we had a room on Clubhouse about things you like to touch and don't like to touch. Mm-hmm. Right, Janet? It was very interesting. People don't like to touch, some blind people, they don't like to touch any raw chicken or meat.
Mm-hmm. Or bones.
Yes. I don't like to touch anything that is a reptile, or even if they're plastic. Any toy that is a reptile, I get very scared about it. So, well, so it doesn't have to do anything with the blindness. It's just characteristics about each person, right?
Yes.
Wow. And to wrap it up, anything that I'm forgetting, Pancho? Anything that you want to actually reflect on or just point out or tell people out there about dating someone that is sighted? What would you tell other blind men?
That if they're dating someone sighted, they're lucky.
They're lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah? How so? Just because they're sighted? Or because they found the one?
Because they found someone that's really caring.
What if this person is someone sighted and she's not caring?
Yeah.
What if she's just looking for sex?
Well,
Or just for the money? We were talking about how in Spain, a lot of blind men, they actually have a sighted, quote unquote, sighted person. I know this is going to be so biased if one of my blind people from Spain watches and listens to this video, okay? That many of them, they have a great pension, even, compared to the pensions in the United States. It's even 4,000 euros monthly, because they used to do so well. See, even Capri agreed. Capri's here answering. She's dreaming that their pension is about 4,000 euros monthly compared to the pensions in the United States. And it's very common that they have a sighted girlfriend or wife that came from other countries. And they were saying, and this is what other blind people were saying on Clubhouse, that they actually look for these blind men because they have the money. They have a good pension. So they don't care about dating or marrying someone.
yeah, but
Because there is a money thing.
It has to do a lot with the
Person,
yes.
that's it. That's it. So I think when someone is
The type of heart they have.
yeah. So really finding someone that cares about you and without having a disability is, yeah. Anything else, Pancho? Anything else you want to point out?
No.
No? What about you, Janet?
I think people with visual impairments shouldn't not try to be with people sighted or blind. I think they should just be open-minded about meeting someone and getting to know the person for who they are, because long-term, that's what's going to be rewarding. Not who could help you, but just that partnership.
Just we are social beings. We are beings that it's not that we need, is that, having someone special, right? I don't know, it's part of being human, right?
Yes.
I don't know. One of the things that Tyson, someone I met on Clubhouse, he's amazing. He was sharing is about the way it's not about finding someone that is sighted when you're blind or finding someone that has a disability. The tip to find someone is if you have a disability, because it is a challenge. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. One of the challenges for the blind community is actually finding a date. I mean, this is a totally different whole video for another video, but it is a challenge. There is a lot of blind women, single women out there, and it's because of the disability. From my point of view, Janet, okay? Because, and for men as well, it's not as easy as for sighted men to just go out there, drive, go to a bar, we can do it, but Tyson was saying visibility is critical. Make yourself visible, get out there, so you have the opportunity to meet somebody, because a boyfriend or a girlfriend is not going to land in the back patio. It's not going to land at home, right? You have to make yourself visible. And I told them, I don't want to be the party pooper in the room. But one of the challenges is that the blind population, maybe the disabled community overall, we are very discriminated into the whole employment area, right? Which is a critical part in the life of a human or a person. So making yourself visible out there it requires money. Not that you're rich, but having to pay for transportation, inviting someone out, paying for their food, whatever. if there is no job and we depend on a small pension or social security, it's not like you can spend a lot. And I'm saying this because in other countries the situation is very different. We're gonna wrap it up by sharing what my friend Alex from Puerto Vallarta has been sharing with us. He was telling us that there is blind people in Mexico that they live on $70 a month, monthly. Okay, a lot of people in Mexico, they actually their income is actually selling candy out there on the streets, singing. And what I've been told is that they make 3 times more money than when working for a location. They make more money singing out there, 3 times or 4 times more. So sometimes it's not only because that's what all they can do, is because they make more money, believe it or not. But if the answer is, visibility, making yourself, yes, I agree with Tyson that you have to get out there, getting to know people, exposing yourself, like Janet said. Don't just limit yourself to, just waiting for someone to just, I don't know. Online dating is a huge thing right now, Janet, don't you think? Online dating?
Yes.
It's one of the ways to now meet someone. So maybe open up to the possibility of joining online dating. I don't know if asking friends to introduce you to someone, but I know there is a good percentage of blind women who have told me that they do not want anyone that is sighted. So this is not only the fault, we're not going to blame just sighted men or sighted women, that they are discriminating us because we have a disability when it comes to dating. It's also us not feeling comfortable, and I know many women that tell me, I do not want to date anyone sighted. I feel more comfortable with someone that is blind, and I totally understand that. It's okay, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It's all about our comfort and what we are looking for and want.
Yeah. So at the end, we're just humans like anybody else. So hopefully this is gonna, help someone out there. Probably gonna identify, maybe, I don't know. I think it's important to share these topics. And yeah, Janet, do we have anyone on watching? Maybe not.
Fabia?
Oh yes, hi Fabia.
Congrats again, I think it says little sister now.
Yes.
Love you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Hola, Fabia. Anybody else? Nobody else?
Nobody else.
Okay. All right. I hope you find something helpful in this video. I'm going to go ahead and share this video on my YouTube channel.